All right. Hey, what is up, everybody? I hope everybody is staying safe during this quarantine. Me and my girlfriend are staying at home, and we're working from home. She's working from our bedroom. I'm working from the living room. That's where we work at the moment. It is what it is. But better safe than sorry. I wanted to talk a little bit about Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders and the fact that Bernie Sanders has officially dropped out of the race. He's going to keep his name on the ballot in primary states, but he's donezo as far as becoming the nominee to be president of the United States of America, or the math just wasn't there. And I know a lot of Bernie supporters are upset at the moment. I talked to, Bernie supporters come in a lot of different shapes and sizes and ideologies and all this different stuff. I actually voted for Bernie Sanders in our California primary. I liked a lot of his ideas, even though I didn't really think he had sound ways of the implementation of them. Just the way the congressional makeup is at the moment. I don't think, when I'm talking about the congressional makeup, I'm talking about both the upper house and the lower house. We've got Congress, but we don't really have Senate. And for a lot of his ideas, you kind of need every part to kind of fall in place, especially for healthcare for all. But I digress. There are Bernie's people who like Bernie, but will vote for Biden because he was the nomination, and then there are Bernie people who just won't vote or will vote for a Green Party candidate because they did not like the outcome of the primaries. And the truth be told, Joe Biden won fair and square this time around. It just is what it is. Bernie Sanders did a lot of things right on the campaign trail, but he also did a lot of things wrong on the campaign trail. And I don't want to get into all of that, but I did want to talk to this voice in, outside of the people in the Bernie camp who are going to vote for Jill Stein if she runs again, or vote for a Green Party candidate, or just do something that I think is very ill advised. And I hear a lot of Bernie people, the ones that I talk to, the ones that are the hardcore ideologues, say that, oh, I am not a Democrat or Republican. I hate the two-party system and blah, blah, blah. And that's why I'm not going to vote for Joe Biden, because it's just more of the same and all this other stuff, which is fine. But it's not, by claiming to not be a part of this two-party system, by not being a Democrat or not being a Republican, ergo, I'm not going to vote for Joe Biden. I mean, I think being a Bernie ideologue is just like being a establishment Democrat or establishment Republican. You're an establishment ideologue. You like the ideas of one individual so much, you have deified this person to such a high level that the pragmatic alternative to that person isn't going to cut it, because you have married yourself to this person's ideas and his belief structure. You have adopted that as your own, and you don't understand the long game of politics. A misconception about me is that I'm just some hardcore Democrat who loves all these politicians and worships Obama and worships Clinton and worships this person or that person. Truth be told, I don't like politicians, whether they're Democrat or Republican. I don't trust politicians. But trust isn't something I need to vote, if that makes any sense. The only thing that I need to be able to vote for a candidate is the trust in the ability that they have to do a job. That's the only reason why I vote. I didn't vote for Barack Obama because I loved every single thing he did. I didn't vote for Hillary Clinton because I loved every single thing she did. I voted for these people because I thought they were the best sane choices to run the country at the time they were running for president. Really, really simple. I think that a lot of progressives, not just progressives, but a lot of Democrats and Republicans as well, have this notion that when you vote for somebody, they're gonna save you. You're looking for politicians to save you and deliver you from the evil that surrounds you in your day-to-day life, and that's just not something that I do. Because I know from personal experience, both working in the political realm, being a political scientist myself, being a intern at the courts, just all these different, being a campaign manager, all these different hats I've wore in politics. I know politicians aren't going to save you. What the best we can hope for them is that when we vote for them, they will do their job and they'll do their job well. And then after you vote for them, it doesn't end there. You vote for these people and then you hold them accountable. You got to call up, your congressman or woman's office. You've got to go to town hall meetings. You've got to lobby. You've got to make sure your voice is heard on that level. You've got to do a lot of the heavy lifting, so to speak. That's what this political game is all about. The reason why you don't vote for third-party candidates is because they've got no chance in winning. Now, in a state like California, if you want to vote for a third-party candidate, it's not going to really disrupt the political system that much because California is always going to go blue. But in a swing district, if you're like in Michigan or Ohio or Pennsylvania or a place like that, not voting is going to be very, very detrimental to the election process. What I vote for, what I hope for with local officials and national officials, what I hope for is not to change everything overnight. My hope is to put a nip at the end of the canvas, right? Because canvas is very strong material that you just cannot rip. But if you could just put a nip at the edge of it, it rips easily, and slowly you can get things done over time. Rome wasn't built in a day. And that's what we have to understand about the political system. The judges that are put on the Supreme Court, whether it's a state Supreme Court or the federal Supreme Court, that matters. Republicans understand this. I don't think Democrats have a full grasp of this. Just take, for instance, not Roe v. Wade. Let's Brown v. Board, for example, 1954. If it wasn't for Eisenhower nominating Earl Warren as a Supreme Court justice, that case would have not been heard. It would have never been heard. Well, it probably would have been heard, but just not during the time that it was heard. Fred Vinson was a racist Supreme Court justice. He had to die in order for the right person to be on the Supreme Court and for Brown v. Board to get heard. And Warren's influence was such that the Supreme Court unanimously voted in favor of Brown v. Board. It's things like that that you might not think matter, but in the grand scheme of things, they matter a lot. Judge assignments matter. Look at all the judges that Donald Trump has nominated to their positions. And it's like phone book of just racist, horrible people in these positions. And this is what we want to avoid. I'm all for disrupting systems. I do think that one day that maybe not in my lifetime, but eventually we will get to the point where a third party candidate can matter in national elections. Maybe you get a few billionaires to back them up. Maybe the system can be disrupted in such a way where that can happen. I just don't see that happening anytime soon. I've been wrong before, but I just don't see that happening anytime soon. So we're in a weird situation right now, especially with this COVID stuff going on. And what Donald Trump has done is he's created this state of chaos because he was given a pandemic response team. He was given a playbook as to handle pandemics, and he didn't take it seriously. Earlier this year, he said the COVID-19 wasn't a big deal. It was being handled. It was being this. It was being that. He basically lied to the American people. And then smart people in his cabinet told him about the gravity of COVID-19, and he started changing his tune. The problem with Donald Trump is he's actually going on TV. A lot of the things he's saying about COVID-19, I'm not talking about the lies and the back and forth petty schoolyard arguments he's having with journalists, but if you listen to like the words he's telling the American people about COVID-19, he's telling a lot of truths in those statements. Like the truths are mixed up with some bullshit because he did tell the American people that we were going to be able to go to church Easter Sunday, and that just wasn't going to ever happen. But when you lie so much and you're a politician and you're in Donald Trump's position, your lie takes a life of its own. So what happened with Donald Trump is he lied for months and told people COVID-19 was not a big deal. And that is what his people are holding on to. They have an anchoring bias on COVID-19. They think they are anchored to this belief that COVID-19 is not a big deal. That's why you've got people going to church, gathering and doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Idiots like Dr. Drew basically echoing Trump's sentiments. And then we find out, no, people are dying of this. This is a pandemic. This is stuff that we got to worry about. So here we are. So again, Trump's lie about COVID-19 took on a life of its own. And the problem with the lie now is Trump doesn't have any control over the lie about COVID-19. He's got no control over what those churches do now because they're going to do what they want to do. Because now people like the Diamond and Silk ladies, they think that Trump is just saying this stuff about COVID-19 because he's getting pressured by liberals to say this stuff. They don't think this is how Trump sincerely feels about COVID-19. They think that Trump, all that stuff that he said in January and February, that's what they want to believe in. They don't believe in the truth that's actually sometimes coming out of Trump's mouth at the moment, because a lie is so powerful. And that's the problem with lying in general, is these lies eventually take on a life of its own. Dr. Drew is the same way. He lied for so many months telling people go out, encouraging people to go on vacation, encouraging people to take planes and to take trains, and COVID is not as bad as the flu, and just a lot of nonsense, to where if I know people affected by this thing personally. I had a friend die from it, and he died alone in a hospital room, and he was only 34 years old. I have a coworker who's got an uncle who has COVID. I have another coworker who has a cousin, and she's got COVID. They're both still alive. The husband was the uncle that I was talking about. He was taken off of a ventilator, and the girl at the moment is touch and go. So this is serious stuff. So we got to be careful. And Trump, we got to get him out of office and get a president who does not lose control of their lies. Count on the president to lie. Count on politicians to lie and bullshit, because that's what they do. But we don't ever want to get to a point where these people are losing control of the things that they say, and it takes on a life of their own, to the point where even once they start telling the truth, it doesn't matter anymore. All right. So vote in 2020. Please vote Democrat, not because I'm telling you to do it, not because you care about, Biden or you love Biden, because I personally don't love Biden, but, I'm going to do what is necessary. And hopefully Biden is enough to where we can start getting some of the things that we want done as progressives. Okay? You guys can message me anytime you want to if you have any political questions, if you have any electoral college questions, if you just are scared and you need somebody to talk to. I'm going into 2020 optimistic. I just am, because I trust American people, even though I probably shouldn't. But just be safe, take care. I'm almost at 20 minutes now, and I didn't plan on going this long, but when the spirit moves you, it moves you, right? So I'll try to make some of these every once in a while and just keep up. If you have friends, please add them to this group, Blue Crush 2020, and we will take back the White House. Okay? Peace.